Hello everyone. You may or may not know, but I've had an interview, an assessment day at Virgin Atlantic. And guess what? I didn't get the job. Now, all my friends have been saying, how's that possible? How could you have not got the job? You're perfect. I'm absolutely flabbergasted. Well, to all my friends around the globe that have asked that, and for everybody else that wonders, well, here it is. I'm going to tell you exactly why and exactly what happened, so I never have to mention one of the darkest, joyless, loathsome days of my life. It starts off with me entering the building, the Virgin head office at Crawley, and as soon as I walked in, I realised this really wasn't going to be for me. As soon as you're in there, it's like being in Stepford. Everybody with perfect hair, perfect teeth, perfect life. I walk up to the reception and I say to the receptionist, "Hello, I'm here for the role of cabin crew." Very nicely, she takes my photograph and turns me round and says, "They're the other candidates. Go and join them." Well, it was like looking at 10 lead pillars. I turned round and said, "Hello, is this the audition for Cats?" Nothing. Now, being a man of 55 and a man of colour, I knew this wasn't going to be the easiest gig. Boy, was I right. I sat down and I tried to ingratiate myself with these pillars. I asked the girl on the left, "What's your name?" "Nadia," she said. I said, "Oh, Nadia, hello. What do you do?" "I work for Bobby Brown." I said, "Terrible what he did to Whitney." Nothing. She said, "No, Bobby Brown the makeup. I sell it at Selfridges." Like I couldn't tell. It was like talking to the great Grimaldi. Now you're told that as soon as you walk in, you're being watched. Everything you do, you're being watched. And the good thing to do is to mingle, to show that you can talk to people that you've never met before. I noticed a boy at the other end, and I noticed his name badge. It was a name that I'd never heard of. I go over to him and I say, "Hello, how do you pronounce your name?" "Gretchen." I said, "I'm sorry, what was that?" "Gretchen." I said, "Oh, that's nice. And where are you from?" "Poland." I said, "Oh, whereabouts in Poland?" "I live in Belgium." I sat back down. With that, the assessors appear and tell us what's going to happen. We are taken to another room where basically they go through our passports, etc. And I try and make conversation again, which was, I was just getting absolutely nowhere. In the midst of this, the main assessor appears. It was like she should have appeared in a cloud of glitter, the most pristine, beautiful, not a hair out of place, perfect makeup, perfect smile. She was so beautiful that she drew gasps of, "Ah." Not from me. We're then taken into another room where we all sit down and the three assessors tell us about their marvellous, glittering life. How they wake up and see the sun rising over Venice Beach, or how they have cocktails at the Hollywood sign, and how they walk down the Castro in San Francisco. Delhi and Lagos weren't mentioned at all. I wonder why. We're then told, "Tell us about yourself, your name, and a little bit about what you do." I said, "Hello everybody, my name's Andrew and I'm 18 years old." "No ages! No ages! Nobody talk about age!" Well, she'd cut through my punchline, hadn't she? Which would have been, I've had a hard life. Da-da! No, I was not afforded that punchline at all. So, of course, to the others, I was, hello, I'm Andrew Wiltshire and I'm 18. You could just you could just hear the minds ticking over saying, nutter, nutter, it's a nutter. We're then told that if you were to swap your best friend for the day, who would it be with? The first girl says, I'd swap my best friend for the day for Rachel McAdams. I really like the way she does roll of the hair at the back. I've tried for years to do that roll of the hair at the back and I just can't. It'd be lovely to have her as a best friend for the day so she could tell me how to do that roll at the back. Well, that seemed the assessor seemed to sort of squeal with delight at this. And, oh, yes, well, I've tried to do that flick too, and I can't. The next one. I'd swap my best friend for Ariana Grande. Oh, that would be a lovely best friend to have for the day, wouldn't it? After all she's been through. Totally disregarding all the people that were killed, maimed, or had their life changed forever. No. She had lovely, lovely clothes, the concerts, and yes, it would be lovely. The next one's from Keith Lemon. Oh, God, really? And a girl that said, I'd swap my best friend for Mother Teresa of Calcutta. God, this girl wanted the job. It came to me. I proudly said, I'd swap my best friend for the day with David Bowie. No squills of delight. No round of applause for him. I just got vinyl or CD. Vinyl. We're then handed a list of people, of fictional people that were going to board a plane, but there were only 8 seats, and there were more people than there were seats, and who wasn't the most important. Put them in order of importance getting on that plane. They ranged from a fashion blogger who had 10 million followers on YouTube, to a family of 5 that were going back, to a man that had to fix the plane in London, so he had to get back, and a little girl that was travelling alone. We were told before this there were no right or wrong answers. Clearly when I said, well, the little kid's going to be travelling alone on whatever plane, why does she have to get on this one? Well, the little Disney princess didn't seem to like that answer very much at all. We were then told who we should upgrade. Now, there was a man that had lost his mother and had to be back for the funeral. They wanted to upgrade him. I said, he's going to be so distressed at losing his mother. He's not really going to care if he's in with the baggage at the back. Again, little Disney princess didn't seem to like that one either. The shit really hit the fan, where we were given what seemed to be like a very, very long little story, full of little paragraphs. Jenny wakes up at 6 o'clock, has to board the plane at this time, at gate whatever, 6, blah blah blah. She meets her friend for a quick cup of coffee. There's an accident on board where somebody has to put their feet up because they fainted, all this sort of thing. That's whipped away in 2 minutes, and you are given a questionnaire. You have to tick, the boxes and stuff like this. As soon as that happened, I was back at school. I was back at school in a hot, sweaty classroom with people saying, Wiltshire's a thicko, Wiltshire can't read, Wiltshire's thick. Well, Wiltshire really was thick. I ticked everything in the wrong box. Realising this, I put my hand up to ask for another piece of paper. Excuse me, could I possibly have another piece of paper? Totally ignored. I put my hand up again. Could I please have, to the point where I'm thinking, do you if I was drowning in the Atlantic, would they throw me a life jacket? No, they wouldn't have done. Disney Princess comes up to me afterwards and says, "Was there a problem?" I said, "Well, I guess the fact that I was going like this, then yes, there was a problem." I said, "I remembered everything, but I've just ticked everything in the wrong box." Why? Disney Princess revealed the real person she was, the true person she was, the person I knew she was the minute she walked in that door. That look of "you've really, really let us down. You really have let us down. How could you have done this? How could you have ticked everything in the wrong box?" Well, I said, "Well, it's possibly nerves." So I said, "Don't worry, I shall come back this afternoon for my 1-to-1 and I shall be marvellous." She gave me a look like, "Well, you need 80% to pass. You need 80% to pass to get through." Well, basically, she told me that I hadn't got the job. I hadn't scored 80%. That was sure. I thought that was very cruel. I thought that was very cruel to tell somebody that, especially as they were coming back for a 1-to-1. So anyway, we then sit back down and we're shown a video of Virgin and they go on about their spectacular lives. And then she says, "It's very, very important that basically what stays in this room stays in this room. Do not go to social media. Do not whatever. It has to stay here." We just talked for half an hour about Rachel McAdams, who I've never heard of, her role at the back. We've talked about Ariana Grande's hot pants. You'd have thought we were in the Pentagon or Churchill's secret war office. But I didn't say anything, and we marched off to lunch. All the other candidates clearly smelt blood and knew that I'd done something wrong. I felt like a wounded antelope in the wild, when the rest of the herd go off and leave them because they know they're about to die. That's how I felt. I go up to the table and I put my attaché case down. And I go and queue up for a coffee. The woman behind the counter, if she was any slower, she would have gone backwards. I kept looking at my bag thinking, probably that's not the best thing to do is leave my bag there. But then I thought, well, I don't want to lose my place in the queue. Otherwise, I really won't get a coffee, and I needed a coffee. I needed something. The room was spinning. The Disney Princess had put me into such a whirl. I didn't know where I was. Tunnel vision. It was just awful, but I kept looking at that bag, thinking, you really, really should move that bag. Anyway, a couple of people started to talk to me. "What did she say to you? What did she say? Why do you think you haven't got the job?" Well, with that I hear, "Whose bag's this? Whose bag's this? Who's left the bag? Who's stupid enough to leave a bag?" Well, I thought, I can take it like a man and say, yes, it's me, or I could flee. God, I tried to flee. But my legs wouldn't move. I was rooted to the spot. It was like I was glued to the spot. If I could have got out of that door, believe me, I would have just run. But my bag, my passport, everything I had was in that bag. I had to stay and take it on the chin. I said, "I'm really sorry. It's me. It's my bag, and I'm really genuinely sorry, and I'll never do it again." With that, we all sit down for lunch. The girl next to me says, "I've had the worst morning of my life." I was thinking, I really don't think so. It's nothing compared to mine. She said, "We got here and I realised I hadn't got my makeup brushes." I thought, okay, I haven't got the job. It's quite obvious. I really didn't want the job. That really was clear as soon as I walked through the door. I realised this is not for me whatsoever, but I thought I'm going to stay here and I'm going to see it through. And I will have my one-to-one, and maybe it's possible I could just convince them. I said to Gretchen, "Come on," I said. "What do you really think of Brexit? What do you people in Belgium really think of us?" Well, with that, the girl on the left said, "We can't talk about religion or politics. No talking of religion or politics." I lost my cool and I turned to her and said, "Well, what was all that about with Mother friggin' Teresa then?" Dead silence. Nothing was said. Everybody just sat there. Yes, I became like them, a lead pillar. Until I thought, I'm going to really throw a spanner in the works. So I did. I said, "Gosh, Richard Branson." I said, "Who would have thought?" I said, "He started off with a little record shop in Brighton, up Queen's Road. Little black fronted shop with Virgin. We always used to get our records there." It's incredible, isn't it? "Look at this. Look at around you." I said, "You must be ruthless." "You don't get that through being nice, do you?" Well, with that, it was like somebody had thrown a big lump of meat or a carcass of a cow into a pond full of hungry alligators. The assessors appeared from everywhere, and dragged me off to my one-to-one, which I have to say was the longest, hottest walk of my life. I really know how somebody feels when they face the gallows. We sit down. Luckily, it's not Disney Princess. She's really had enough of me. She doesn't trust me. She's a little edgy, and she's gone. So I'm interviewed by a lovely portly lady who I must say was extremely, extremely nice. She sits down and says, "Why do you want to fly for Virgin Atlantic?" Of course, in my mind, I was thinking, because I want to walk down the Castro in San Francisco. I want to watch the sunset in Venice Beach. Yes, I want my picture taken by the Hollywood sign. I want to post everything on Facebook and brag to my friends that my life's lovely and look at this glamorous lifestyle I'm leading. But of course I didn't. I said, because I'm a first-class person who wants to deliver a first-class service to a first-class company. She liked that, but of course by then it was just too late. She then says, "Think of a time when you've exceeded at work." By this time, we both knew we were just going through the motion. She knew that I knew I hadn't got the job and vice versa. So I said, "Well, the other night, somebody came in and complained the restaurant that the lamb was cold and tough." "Hold on," she said, "I'm just writing this down. So the lamb was cold and tough." I said the lamb was cold and tough. "So what did you do with the cold, tough lamb?" I said the cold, tough lamb was taken down to the kitchen, and I said to the chef, "This lamb is cold and tough. Could you possibly just do another one?" She said, "What was it like when it came back up?" I said, "Just perfect." She said, "Well, I think that about wraps it up." I'm thinking, thank God. She said, "I must tell you that you are one in 5,000 people that have made it to this stage, and you should be very proud of yourself." 5,000 people. Listen, honey, I'm one in a million. Now, for people that are thinking of flying, I think it's the best job in the world if you can do it. I hope this hasn't sounded like a bitter rant because I really didn't want it to. I didn't want the job and I didn't deserve the job, so therefore I've got nothing to be bitter about. Some of my closest friends fly for Virgin and indeed British Airways and lots of other companies. They are genuine, smart, lovely people. They really are. It was just this lot weren't. They were vile, apart from the one who did my one-to-one. But Disney Princess, ooh, ho, 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 ho. Hmm. Could I spend 11 hours on a plane with these people? No, not for all the money in the world. My advice is that if you really, really want to fly, be as normal as possible. Yes, they want to see your personality, but they don't want to see that much personality. She asked me, what qualities would you have? Could you bring to the role of cabin crew? What have you done before that would make you good for the job? So I said, well, I've been a button red coat. I've been a waiter. I've worked in hotels. I've even been a model. But that was 1978. Nobody talk about age. Nobody talk about age. Cutting through my punchline again, which would have been, I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. I needed the money. Just remember, this is their show. It's not yours. So these are the reasons why I didn't get the job. I caused a mini security alert at the Virgin head office. You really don't want that. I've upset Disney Princess, and that little brat, well, she can get on whatever plane she likes. I just don't care. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. I never have to speak about this again. I never have to speak about the most joyless, mudbound, loathsome, foul day I can remember in a while. Bye-bye, everyone. Oh, gosh, I hope this is recording. I'm absolutely awful with technology.